What if everything we think we know about Prince Andrew is only the tip of a much larger, darker iceberg, and the most explosive chapters are still hidden from view? If you're new here, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss our updates, because what we're about to unpack could reshape how the public sees the modern monarchy. For decades, he was the golden boy, a war hero, a helicopter pilot returning from the Falklands with charisma to spare. Today, that image has been irrevocably fractured. But according to Andrew Lownie, the respected royal biographer behind entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York, the public has seen only a fraction of the story, Lownie says. He's preparing an expanded paperback due in May that will include material he previously withheld for legal reasons, material he believes points to a far wider pattern of financial misconduct and troubling international ties. This isn't tabloid conjecture. Lownie is a fellow of the Royal Historical Society, a methodical researcher who takes a follow-the-money approach. On Good Morning Britain, he was careful but blunt. Much of what's in the public domain is just the surface. The deeper record, he says, contains documents and evidence that are now legally solid enough to publish. Why was it kept out of earlier editions? British libel laws and aggressive legal pressure can block or delay publication. Lownie contends those obstacles prevented him from naming names and publishing certain records until now. If his claims are accurate, we're not just talking about bad judgment or poor company. We could be looking at systemic failures that blurred the line between official representation and private gain. Consider the roles Prince Andrew once held. As a special representative for trade and investment, his introductions carried weight. A royal endorsement in boardrooms across the Middle East, Central Asia, and beyond is valuable currency. Reports over the years have raised questions about certain sales and donations, the 2007 sale of Sunninghill Park, for example, and the unusually generous funding that covered some of his legal costs. Lownie suggests those incidents are small threads in a larger financial tapestry. He also points to the international dimension. The Epstein scandal was seismic, but Lownie implies it was not the whole story. Material, he says, has been shared with U.S. authorities and even with British officials. If true, this raises a stark question. What have investigators done with it? Have lines of inquiry stalled, or are they quietly building cases that will surface later? Lownie argues the public's patience with no comment and managed silence is wearing thin. And for good reason. The palace's response over recent years has largely been containment. Titles were returned, military affiliations rescinded. The Duke moved to the periphery of public life. But containment isn't the same as accountability. For many, the optics of a reduced public role, while living in a royal residence and continuing to receive privileges, looks like a soft landing. It's not justice. There's also a reputational risk for the monarch. King Charles III has framed his reign as a time for a slimmed-down modern monarchy. Yet if these allegations of financial impropriety, especially involving official trade, missions turn out to be substantiated, they threaten not just one man's legacy, but the institution's credibility. A monarchy that can't demonstrate transparency and accountability risks an erosion of public trust that no PR campaign can fully repair. We have to be careful here. Allegations and evidence are not the same as convictions. Much of what Lownie promises will hinge on documentary proof, bank records, emails, ledgers that survives legal scrutiny. He's hinted that the updated edition will include material that was previously withheld for precisely that reason. If that material exists and is robust, the fallout could be severe. If it doesn't, or if authorities choose not to act, the story becomes a different kind of scandal, one about power, privilege, and the limits of the law when it meets the monarchy. There's also an important human side to this. For survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuses, and for anyone who has waited for accountability, each new detail reopens old wounds. Lownie's work, whatever its final form, intersects with those ongoing quests for answers. It matters not just for history, but for people seeking closure. What should we expect in the months ahead? Watch for a few familiar tactics. A stream of positive coverage about other royals to distract attention. Carefully timed statements from the palace, and perhaps leaks designed to shape public perception. But expect a growing chorus of journalists, historians, and legal experts probing deeper. International cooperation, particularly between US and UK authorities, may be decisive if cross-border. Financial records are at issue. So where does that leave the monarchy? If the claims Lownie teases are as serious as he suggests, the institution will face a choice: a proactive, transparent reckoning that exposes uncomfortable truths, or continued containment that risks an ever-widening breach in public confidence. Either path will be painful. One may save the monarchy's future. The other may hasten its decline in the court of public opinion. We'll be watching Lownie's updates closely and reporting what can be verified. Meanwhile, we want to hear from you. Do you think the monarchy can survive revelations like these? Should Prince Andrew face a formal public inquiry? Or is the palace right to treat this as a private family matter? Leave your thoughts below. We read them all. If you found this video useful, like and share it so more people can join the conversation. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with more as this story develops.